So yeah, I think I'm liking it. But either way, hey everybody, we are in the fifth day of 2023. So we are just trying to find our way, making sure that we reach these goals that we said that we were going to reach, and making sure that we also don't lose that motivation. So this morning, I was just coming to you guys and letting you know that everything that we do and everything that we speak about doing, whether it's an idea, writing a book, it's a process. So I wanted to do this live this morning about trusting your process because everybody can say that they want to do something. Everybody can say they want to write a book, they have an idea. Even just the little things of saying that you want to work out or you want to get more healthy or you want to do things better this year. That takes work. That takes a process and it takes planning. You can't just keep saying you want to do something and you haven't put in the steps to actually get there. So I even had some tips on motivation yesterday, and it mainly had to do with organization, making sure that before you do something, you're taking those steps to plan it out, and that you know exactly where you're going with it. So just like this morning, I knew that I was going to do an ab workout. I planned out exactly what workouts I was going to do. I planned out my reps. I planned out everything that I needed to actually get a good workout in. Because if you're just walking around the gym, wandering around, trying to try new machines out, it's not going to be as fun now, is it? So when you come to trusting your process, it has to have organization to it. And when I say trust your process, that's also trusting yourself. A lot of us just say that we want to do stuff and we have this energy to do these things that we've thought about off the top of our head, but we don't even trust ourselves to see if we can discipline ourselves enough to do it. So the first thing that has to be done is knowing if you have that discipline to keep at it and to stay consistent. Because sometimes ideas can just be ideas at that time, but when you actually start having to do it and put the work in, it's not as exciting as you thought it was going to be. And the next thing you know, you're just tapering off and you go to some other endeavor that makes it look like you're kind of just jumping around and not sticking to anything. So that comes with trust in yourself. It comes with knowing your ability and your limits, and whether you have that talent to do what you say you're going to do, and whether you have that ambition to say that you're going to do what you're going to do, because ambition is also a big part. Grit is a big part. And if you have none of those, then you just have an idea, and it's not really going to take off as much as you thought that it was. So trusting yourself also has to do with anything that you've done before or that you did fail at. Don't let that beat you up and take you out of what you want to do now, because most of the time it you have to fail to keep going. You have to have trial and error. Last year, when I was working on books for other authors, I was excited. I was like, I get to help other authors and other women make their work and create their books that they never thought that they could publish. And I went into it so excited that I can admit I didn't plan as much as I should have planned, and I didn't put in as much of the funding that I should have put in, but I still made it work in either way. Once it was done, I knew what I had to do to keep it going, because a cookbook is hard. Like, doing a cookbook is super hard. I didn't know how the pictures went. I didn't know how formatting went. I didn't know how editing went. So I went through a lot of different channels. I went through Fiverr, and I had to actually go ahead and research what it took to do everything. So that's what I'm working on this year. I don't want to have to go through any third parties or keep going through other people to do things for me, because sometimes that took waiting time, that took paying extra for them to go ahead and put it through quicker than they would other orders. And that takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot out of your finances. It takes a lot out of your mentality. So I definitely got a lesson from that last year, and just creating books for other authors and making sure that I did follow through on my publishing company. But it was a lesson. I learned a lot, and I learned a lot about entrepreneurship, about small business, and about making sure you have your P's and Q's and orders, even down to the taxes, and even down to just making sure you pay what you're supposed to pay. So trusting yourself to know that you're not going to let yourself down, and that you're going to keep going no matter how many times you slip and fall, and no matter how many times you fail. That's the most important part about your process, because once you keep quitting and once you keep switching from one thing to the other, it makes you look unstable, and it makes you look like you really don't have a genuine care for your craft or whatever you're trying to do. You're just kind of trying to find something that makes you money or that gets you to where you need to get successfully. And that has to do with just appearance. You wanted to appear successful, but you're really not there yet because you haven't put in the work to get there. So keep that in mind when it also comes to trusting your process. And the other thing that I really love to let people know, especially if they're doing a self-help book or if they're doing anything that has to do with entrepreneurship or motivating people or being a leader, if you have not forgiven yourself for traumas, for anything unhealthy, mental health, relationships, or anything that just keeps making you have a toxic lifestyle, you're not going to make it. Most of the time, we want to jump into things, like I said as well, but we don't look at what's surrounding us, our friends, and what we have going on at this moment. And that puts a lot into what we're doing if it's a serious thing. So if you haven't yet even become healthy from your mental health issues, from things that have happened to you before, things that have made you a little, just not okay up there, you really need to get that together first, because it's always going to get into the way of anything positive that you try to do for yourself. Anything positive that you try to tell yourself is going to take over that. And I've been there, I've done that. It seems like when I'm like at my best, like my moment, like I'm running and I know what I'm supposed to do and I got it. This dark cloud can come out of nowhere and really just make you feel like none of that even mattered. You don't matter. What you're doing is just not even going to work. I don't even know why you have this idea. And that comes with self-doubt. That comes with, if you have depression, anxiety, it comes with all that stuff. But that doesn't mean that you let it defeat you. So the thing about that is staying motivated and making sure that you don't let that darkness continue to take over, because we can live in there and we can stay there for weeks. Weeks can turn into months and months can turn into years. And that's when you start to have regret. You'll be like, why did I not just get out that funk and do what I had to do? So don't think that it's just an overnight thing, because it's not. That's the big thing about it. People just jump into stuff and it's like sometimes it's not that month or so you thought it was going to take, it's not that 6 months you thought it was going to take, it's not that 8 months you thought it was going to take. Sometimes it's about a year, sometimes it's 5 years, sometimes it's 10 years. But if you're serious about something, then those years don't intimidate you. Whatever you have to do, you're going to keep doing and you're going to keep striving to make it there. So that's all about still trusting in your process. It's about knowing if you're serious enough about what you're doing to keep it going. Because once you get there, that's when you can help other people actually realize what they have to do. They're like, okay, I see they, made it look this way, but always know that your process is your process. Whatever you see other people doing, that's not you. That's not your process. That's not your race. And if it seems like they make it look easy or they got there so quick, they didn't. Like, it's always something that they had to go through. And it's always something that we always have to sacrifice to make it to where we want to go. So success and getting to where you want to go, entrepreneurship, it's ugly. It's uncomfortable. It's not easy at all. Like, I think people fail to realize that. So I'm gonna always be coming to you guys every day with something motivational and something to just keep you uplifted, because I know that this new year can get to you. Once you worry about in March, you're gonna start to feel it. You're gonna start to wonder, like, can I keep this up? Can I keep going? If you're trying to finish writing a book, if you're trying to any project that you're doing, it's going to start to feel some type of way in the third or the second month, really, because anything that's uncomfortable, it takes you about 2 weeks to create a habit and to stop a habit. But if you keep making excuses and if you keep missing days, it's going to add up. So I just want you guys to keep your head up today. Make sure that you don't let that self-doubt sink in and stay in there, and that things don't get to that shadowy place, because it can happen really quick. But my advice to you is to find something for you. That was my biggest thing, was that I think I was stressing so much and feeling like I was helping everyone else and getting everyone else together, that I wasn't doing anything for myself to be healthy. So my thing has been the gym. Yeah, I've been in the gym every day. I only miss one day out of the week, so I try to go every day right now, just to make sure that I keep that discipline in myself. I made that promise to myself. So that's the first start. It's just the little things. The little things turn into big results. And once you actually make that small promise, then it becomes more expanded into other things. So guys, just find that thing, that hobby, that I'm sorry, hobby, that habit, that hobby, something that makes you you and that doesn't have to do with anyone else but you. In fact, the first hour or so of your day should honestly be dedicated only to yourself. If you get up and the first thing you do is trying to see what's up with everybody else and if they're comfortable, it's definitely going to just send you down the spiral. If you're a mom and you have kids, that's a big thing. We usually get up and we're ready to get our children together and see what's going on. But me, I finally decided before everyone else gets up, before I even get to anyone else, at 5 o'clock in the morning, that's my time. That's my time to work out, to get my health together mentally and physically, and to just have that moment to say what I'm going to do today. What am I going to put out into the world? What am I going to make happen today? So, pick and choose that. Make sure it's a healthy habit, and make sure that it's something that will make you proud at the end of the day and that'll push you throughout your entire day. And that's the biggest thing for me. So that's my little bit of advice for the day, and trusting your process, trusting yourself, forgiving yourself, giving yourself that discipline to know whether you can do what you say you're going to do. You guys have a happy Thursday, and I will see you later. Please stay tuned and follow, subscribe. Make sure that you stay tuned into everything that I'm doing. And also, I updated my website, authorrobinchappelle.com, so don't forget to check that out, as well as rightawaypublishing.com, which is my publishing business and small owned business. Y'all have a wonderful day. See you later.